Hello, my curious souls. Welcome in or welcome back. Thank you for being here and sharing your time and energy with me today. My name is Amanda, and today we have a Monday mystery message reading for you. We have 3 soul paths for you to choose from, with a mystery card underneath each one, which I will reveal in the reading today. If you are new to my general tarot readings, not all messages will resonate, so please only take the messages that feel aligning, inspiring, or confirming for you, and kindly leave the rest behind for someone else. Also, please use your own discernment when it comes to making decisions based on your personal situations, limitations, or means. And this reading will also be timeless, so whenever you find it, there will be something here to guide you along your journey. If you're ready to get into your reading, timestamps are all available in the description box or pinned comment section. However, if you would like me to introduce you to the soul paths, let me do that now. For soul path 1, we have question perceptions to learn new things with the fox and the number 7, as well as the Mookite Jasper Stone. For soul path 2, we have enjoy moments of sweetness with the bear and the number 6, with the Aragonite Stone. And for soul path 3, we have let go of control or expectations with the Merganser duck and the number 4, with the Atlantisite Stone. So use your intuition now to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most, then click on the timestamp in the description box or pinned comment section to skip to your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, my soul path 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Mookite Jasper Stone with the question perceptions to learn new things with the number 7 and the fox. Couple things that I'm getting from this is that there is a sense you need to ask more questions, or trust what you already know, or go deeper with what you already know. There could be an energy around you that is making you feel or think that what you feel or what you think has no merit, has no truth, when in reality it actually does. So I feel like they're trying to shift your focus so that your focus is somewhere else. So there's a distractive energy, like, hey, look over here, but when really this other thing is going on in the background or on the side, or kind of unbeknownst to you. But I feel like you have some level of knowing, but you don't actually have fact. You don't have any proof. So I feel like you have to trust your knowing, or at least question what you know and what you don't know, in order to learn something new here. Now, the fox is also very adaptable as well. So being a little bit flexible in the things you are learning at this time, about people that you are coming in contact with. There's a little bit of a slower energy from the point of contact to the point of you making a decision to be friends with them, or to be in a love connection with them, or to spend time with them outside of work, for example. So there needs to be a little more space and a little bit more gathering of information, and almost questioning. There could be some here with a level of optimism and a level of seeing people's potential that really shuts down their own instinctual hunches. So you meet somebody and you get an energy from them, a feeling from them, but because you just met them and because you see through maybe their own truth, their own reality, the stories that they may be sharing, you're seeing their potential. So you go with that. You see their higher self in a way. So you end up connecting in with them, when in reality they're showing you a different part of themselves, a part of themselves that hasn't quite yet grown into their higher self. So it's almost like you have to trust what they're showing you, or trust what they're delivering to you, But more importantly, trust those initial instincts and not push them aside or bypass them or ignore them. Keep them in the front of your mind, and maybe even questioning, well, why am I feeling that way? Why am I thinking that? And maybe just taking note, if anything else. But I feel like your perceptions are being challenged. Your beliefs or your ideas or your truths are being challenged at this time. And so in order to find clarity, in order to find answers, you have to come back into your own sense of what the truth is, even though you may not have the information that you need, because you may not ever get the information that you need. So the mystery card underneath that was spinning wheel. So I feel like you're trying to make gold out of hay. So there's this feeling of doing this work, maybe on behalf of other people, to bring in their higher selves, the self that you see beyond the hurt, beyond the challenges that they're facing, beyond the pain. And it's like you're trying to weave something on their behalf, or maybe you've been in some kind of cycle for some time trying to find answers to something that you can't quite put your finger on or you can't quite see. So I feel like this questioning is almost getting a different perspective and looking at the situation or looking at yourself from an outsider's point of view in a way. That might give you the perspective that you need to gain the new perception that is being asked of you or called on you at this time. So we're going to get a little more information now with the tarot. So we're asking Spirit, what mystery message wants to come forward? Maybe what is the spinning wheel about? What mystery message wants to come forward? Okay, so this is the Hierophant in reverse, which is challenging the status quo, challenging what you know, challenging the things that you're being told to believe, challenging the things that you've told yourself to believe, the things that, those conditioned beliefs, those programs, those things that you have kind of taken at face value. I feel like there's a real pushback to asking questions and learning a little bit more about the person delivering you the message or the information, just because you deem them as a higher knowing, a higher power, even somebody who is of authority. That does not mean that they are safe for you. That does not mean that they have all the answers. So it is so important to really foster that trust within self, that trust within your own belief system, your own knowing, and coming back into what you know to be true, what you believe to be true, rather than maybe what you're being told. So in this process, you might end up breaking traditions or switching routines or saying no to things that you may have used to say yes to, and really challenging those almost automatic responses or automatic behaviors within you. So why is this important? I mean, we already know why it might be important, but I just want to hear from Spirit. Why is this mystery message coming forward? Why is this mystery message coming forward? I hear transformation. I hear clearing. It's clearing something. Look at this. 7 of Swords in reverse. It is to step into what you know to be true and moving away without guilt the energies that prove to threaten your own sense of knowing, your own sense of understanding, and taking what you've learned from the situation and integrating that, of not feeling guilty, shameful, or doubtful about your truth and what you need to do in the moment to be able to move towards a stronger truth. Now, this may feel like you're abandoning somebody, or you're cutting someone off at the knees, or you are being mistrustful in that process. But I almost feel like this conditioned belief, or something that you've believed from the past that you were told, has you believing that stepping into your own truth and having an opinion, having a sense of knowing within you, and really following that path has led you to feel guilty. And so it's comfortable to stick with what you've been told. It's comfortable to stick with, or at least it's safe and comfortable to stick with what you know, with what you've been told, of just keep doing the work and keep showing up for other people, maybe even doing the work for other people. So taking on the burdens of other people and suppressing your truth in the process, suppressing what you feel you need to do in order to keep yourself safe and secure and happy. It does not serve other people, specific people in your life. I have a feeling you know who this person or situation is. It does not serve them for you to have your own sense of authority. So they've tried that to suppress that within you. And I feel that you know that, which is maybe why you are questioning things at this time. Why do I believe this person? Why am I acting in this way? Why do I feel guilty or shameful for speaking up, for being expressive, for putting up boundaries and pushing back when I don't feel comfortable or safe? It does not serve this person or this situation for you to have your own mind, for you to have your own truth. So of course it's going to feel uncomfortable when you start moving in that direction of, this is my truth, I'm going to hang on to it with dear life, and I'm going to move forward because that's what is healthy for me. That is what is being required of me, of my higher self. So expect a little discomfort if you start, and when you start moving into being expressive, sharing what you think, sharing what you feel, and even making decisions as well based on your truth. And it does not have to have, for some reason this is coming through really strongly, it does not have to have proof. Your truth does not have to have proof. If your truth is, this is not right for me, I don't feel comfortable, this doesn't feel aligned, that is your truth in that moment. That doesn't mean it can't change, but in this moment, this is my boundary, this is my limit, this is how I feel, that is my truth. It does not need to have examples or justification. And I'm getting really almost defensive, fired up for you on your behalf. So I almost feel that this is an energy that almost you need to embody. So we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And this is your guidance or advice in this situation, is that you have to be okay stepping away from comforts, stepping away from maybe what you used to align with in terms of your values. This is a sense of completion when we come to the tens. This is wrapping things up, of seeing things come to a close, of tying a ribbon on it and starting a fresh new cycle. So I feel like your values have changed. The things that you once enjoyed, that you once spent time doing, that you once put your time and energy into, your investments, that could be financial as well, they have changed, and you no longer want to put your energy, effort, or time into the values that you once held based on this belief that I feel you've now stepped out of alignment in. Not to say that this is bad. And so if you're not feeling a manipulative situation or person in your life, then apply this how it might resonate. If there's little twinkles of resonation in this message, then it could simply be just a general, your beliefs and values have changed. You've done a lot of questioning, and now you're making new decisions. You're changing, I don't want to say timelines, but you're shifting the track that you're on. So you have maybe fallen out of some kind of alignment with something that you used to put in high regard. Now, family values is what I'm getting from this as well. So there might be certain things within your family unit that you just don't agree with or align with anymore, that maybe you were once told, oh, you should take over the family business, or you should do this. There's some shoulds that are coming up that I feel that you have stepped out of alignment with, and sometimes that's okay. I feel the need to tell you to not feel guilty or shameful for that, especially if you're being honest about where you're at and you're hanging on to your integrity, and you're not sacrificing your needs or your wants to appease somebody that may or may not have your best interests at heart. But yeah, so I feel like you're wanting to maybe create something of your own. Create or invest your time in something that feels like it's yours. For some reason, this Ten of Pentacles feels like it's shared time, shared energy, shared wealth. And you want to break free from that. There's an independence coming through here. And you want to have your own set of rules and terms and conditions and agreements, rather than leaning on something that maybe you were told is the right thing. And the King of Wands is at the bottom of this deck. So I feel there's a strong sense of leadership coming out. There is a strong sense of you taking your own path and being really willful in that. There's a take charge energy here. This person is a visionary, so they have a vision of what they want for their life, what they want for their business, how they want to achieve success. And they have the energy, the creativity, the willpower, and the stamina to be able to take this to the end, to be able to see it through. They are real masters at bringing their ideas to life. So true manifestors. And I feel like this is the energy that you may not see within you. You are a leader. You are courageous. You can overcome adversity and challenge. You can foster a sense of creativity and bringing your visions to life. You have this within you. This is also very fire sign energy. So you could be a fire sign, but continue to follow those passions. Continue to follow what speaks to your soul. And I feel like you've done a lot of spiritual growth here. So you've almost mastered who you are and who you want to become, which makes sense why you may have fallen out of alignment with certain beliefs and values that you once held in high regard. Again, not to say that they are bad, but they've changed. They have shifted. You are different. Okay, so let's get some clarifiers. What is this Hierophant? What is this Hierophant? I'm not sure that we need clarifiers, but we're going to do it anyway. Thank you. I have not knocked. Clear the energy. What is this Hierophant? Thank you. And we have the Page of Swords here. So there's a bit of doubt. There's a sense that you would like to have a fresh perspective and you would like to learn new things. There's this open-mindedness about the Page of Swords. But in reverse, they can be a little unsure about what that looks like, how to bring these ideas to life, and they're kind of just getting their feet on the ground. So I feel like there's a lot to learn. So don't be, I want to say don't be hasty in this process, because you have to learn to walk before you can run. And maybe running is something that you want to do. You want to run away from whatever these feelings are. But I feel you have to move through it in a very conscious and clear way, as conscious and clear as you can be, because there's something to learn. There's something to glean in this. And again, coming back to that learn in this card here, there is something to learn. And with this being in the reverse, this feels like there is almost a blockage to learning something. So maybe being in this belief system that you once had, the structure that you once leaned on, it didn't give you, there's a rigidity, it didn't give you any give, it didn't give you any flexibility to move outside of the box. And I feel you really want to elevate, you really want to expand your way of doing things, your way of thinking, your perceptions, your mindset, the way you communicate. I feel like a lot is shifting here. What's interesting that I've never noticed before is this arrow, and it's pointing up. So it's like this is going to give you a new direction. And with it being in reverse, it's pointing away from the Hierophant. So it's almost like this new way of thinking, this new way of perceiving the world, of perceiving people or situations or even yourself, this mindset that you're adopting, I feel it's going to move you away from those really solid beliefs that you once had, that you could really depend on. But I feel those are falling away. What is the Seven of Swords in reverse about, please? Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay, you got two. First card out is the Eight of Cups. There we go. We have a walking away from and almost an acceptance of having things be left unsaid, to be left undone. It's almost like there is no right way to do this. There is no gentle way. You only have to follow what is within your heart, and you have to be willing to go on a bit of a soul journey and a moving away from the feelings or emotions that you once held in comfort or that you once leaned on. And guilt and shame could be one of those things, even though it's not in our highest expression. It's like we lean on that to make sure we stay safe or to make sure that we're unseen. And when we're unseen, that means there's no resistance, there's no conflict, there's no confrontation, there's a safety there, there's no vulnerability there. And that's not necessarily a good thing, because it really hinders us from sharing our gifts with the world. So this is almost an acceptance of what is, of what I can't change, and being really graceful about moving on from it, of letting it go without guilt, without shame, but knowing that this is in your highest emotional truth. And then we have the Devil in reverse. And this Devil in reverse are those things, the guilt, the shame, even the people or the situations that are keeping you small or keeping you contained so that you benefit the situation, you benefit the person that is trying to do this to you or is suppressing you. And you are, with this walking away or moving away from, you're stepping away from this wheel. You're stepping away from the work that they need to do for themselves. And instead, you are doing the work that you need to do. And you are detaching yourself from something that isn't in your highest good. And it is through this questioning, it is through this learning that you are understanding. You are bringing a higher awareness to. You are listening to your highest self, your highest truth. And in that process, you detach from a lot of things that no longer serve you, from an emotional aspect and from a mental aspect, maybe even a spiritual one. So 10 of Pentacles, please. And we have the Knight of Wands. Pardon me, the Page of Wands. So again, we have some new energy, and what's super, super cool is that you are starting to understand this King of Wands energy. I feel that it is hidden to you at the moment, but you're going to start seeing glimpses of it as soon as you reorganize or readjust or start living your true values and the beliefs that you have about yourself, about the world, through this learning, through this questioning, through this pushing back of the status quo and what you have been told, maybe even your conditioned beliefs, and starting to listen to your intuition and that higher truth a little bit more. So once you detach or put an end to or start living your true values, your true beliefs, you start getting sparks of some new things. You start moving into this energy of the wands where you're feeling motivated, you're feeling inspired, you're feeling fired up. Like I had started to feel here with the Seven of Swords in reverse. Well, I was feeling really fired up and really passionate about my stance, almost from a defensive point of view. But I almost feel like you come into your own sense of power, or you start to understand or feel your own sense of power when you have so much more. This is just a hint of what you're seeing within you. So I really feel like your strength, your inspiration, your leadership, your creativity, I think is really going to start to shine, and you're not going to worry about doing things perfect, because I feel like there is no right way to move away from this old energy. It needs to be almost a bit of a break, and that could be a temporary break, or it could be a complete break depending on your situation. But of course, use your own discernment, really important in regards to your truth. Use your own discernment to determine what that looks like and how that feels. We also need to tap into how that feels. Really come into your own sense of power, your own sense of authority, and not worrying about being perfect, but to just follow that desire and passion as best you can in the moment. So we're going to pull final oracle card for you. Really powerful reading here for you, Soul Path 1. Too many. Final message for Soul Path 1, please, Spirit. Final mystery message for Soul Path 1. Synchronicity. Okay. There could be certain synchronicities that you start to see as this unfolds. So numbers could be something to watch for, repeating numbers. I know that is one very common synchronicity, and you can look up the meaning of those numbers so that you can kind of get some messages from what that might mean. But something is definitely flowing in the right direction. So if you are questioning things at this time, know that it's a good thing. And even though it might feel a little confusing, that you are on the right track, you are on the right path, and that it is leading you somewhere. And when it comes to synchronicity, there could be just a feeling that things are falling into place or something bigger is happening. I feel like feeling is going to be a big part of this. So stay optimistic for your desired outcome in wherever you find yourself. And know that this isn't a random development, but I feel like this is a pretty big integral moment in your life. So synchronicity is about paying attention. Maybe paying attention to the questions that are coming up, paying attention to those intuitive hunches, paying attention to maybe the things that you're learning or you're starting to understand, maybe in areas where you feel like you're doing a lot of work on someone's behalf, or you're spinning your wheels with someone and not really getting anywhere, not really finding any answers, and more questions just keep coming up. So the word of synchronicity is to just keep a sharp eye, pay attention, and look for patterns or things that come up repeatedly, as they might require your attention and they might have some messages there for you. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 1. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you all my love, and we will see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Aragonite stone with Enjoy Moments of Sweetness with the number 6 and the bear. So there's a real protective energy coming through with the bear. There's a strength, a protectiveness, and even a resilience that's coming through. There's also this interesting not interesting, it's just a very strong image that's coming through of just their patterns of sleep, how they go through months of rest during winter, this hibernation period, and then they come out and enjoy the abundance of spring and summer and just live life, enjoy the sweetness of life. So I feel like you could possibly be coming out of a period of hibernation, and maybe you're at a really low point of that hibernation period where you've moved through some kind of dark portion of that and are feeling very, very low. You've gone through some challenge, but I feel up and coming is a time where it's time to reap the rewards. It's time to step into your joys again. Even if that isn't from the external world, how can you muster that up internally? How can you intentionally put yourself in a place of abundance, in a place of sweetness? What are those things that you really enjoy? Even if it might be hard to enjoy in a moment of challenge, of change, of adversity, of maybe even a low emotional point in your life, to still continue to show up for those things that you used to enjoy and that you do enjoy, but aren't able to fully express it or aren't able to really fully enjoy it in the way that you once did. I feel like Spirit still wants you to enjoy moments of life and moments of sweetness, moments of happiness, even if you're just there and you're maybe not really truly deeply joyful in the way that you wished you were. No judgment is what I'm hearing. To show up in this moment of sweetness without judgment. So however you want to experience it, to sit and watch a show and enjoy a show that you once used to love, or to paint, draw, sing, dance, any kind of creative expression. Even if you're kind of feeling glum about it or this isn't really going to help, there's a skepticism coming through. So I feel like Spirit really wants you to enjoy those flavors of life that are sweet to you. Oh, interesting. I just got somebody's got their hands in the honey pot. So that could be a message for somebody. I don't want to speculate. But I'll just leave it there and you can pick that up if it resonates. If it doesn't, just leave it behind. But yeah, it's your chance to really enjoy life, coming out of a moment of hibernation, of rest, of recovery, of darkness, of lack even. It's time to move out of that. And I almost wonder if it's going to be a little bit of you and a little bit of the external circumstances kind of meeting in the middle. I don't feel like there's an external circumstance that can really pull you out of it. So it's kind of a meeting in the middle is what I'm seeing. It's life showing up a little bit and you showing up a little bit, and you're kind of meeting at that halfway point. So I think that's why Spirit is encouraging you to step into those a little bit, even if you're not 100% feeling it. All right, so the mystery message underneath this is the gingerbread house. Okay. So what I'm feeling from this is, again, more sweetness coming through. There's something about your third eye. Again, we have darkness. So I feel in this darkness, maybe your intuition or your spirituality or something has really been fostered or strengthened at this time. I feel like you're coming out of this a very different person than you were going into it. So that might be something to reflect on. I feel like there's a sense of you coming home to yourself in some way. So maybe the things that you used to find joyful or sweet or loving, those things might have changed. I feel a little bit of a shift. Maybe your priorities are changing, where instead of you being in the city, for example, you want to move to the country and want to have a quieter lifestyle, or just something that is a little more grounded in nature. Maybe being out in nature will be helpful for you, to get amongst the trees or the waterways, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, or the desert, depending on where you live. But I really feel like that being kind of engrossed in your external world, your natural external world, is really going to help you kind of find these moments of sweetness. And it could be the observation of something in the natural world. It could be listening to a bird's song. It could be watching the trees sway in the wind. It could be the smell of roses. So use all of your senses here. I'm getting that sweetness doesn't just lie in the things that you taste, but it also lies in the things that you watch or look at or or feel with touch or feel with your heart. So definitely open yourself up to the senses, which could really help. And interesting, there's more protectiveness with the fence here. So again, being really discerning about who you allow into your world, who you allow into the experience that you are engrossing yourself in. So let's get into the tarot now and see what mystery message wants to come forward. Spirit, what do you have to share with Soul Path 2, please? Thank you. So the Judgment card in reverse. This is definitely a feeling of things changing and possibly you not maybe hearing the call or wanting to move through these changes. I feel like there's a lot of discomfort in these changes. So it is almost a little overwhelming. The obstacles, the challenges, the changes that are happening are really quite overwhelming. So it's not so easy to just make changes and to be accepting of it, because I feel a lot of fundamental things are changing. And just taking a peek at the bottom of the deck, we have the Tower. So a lot of big things are occurring in your life. Again, speaking back to that hibernation aspect of that darkness, things are moving, shifting, changing beneath you, maybe within you. And there is a higher calling. There's a higher purpose for this, I feel. There's spiritual growth, spiritual development. There's even a second chance to do something differently here. I don't know what that is, but because there is a little bit of fear of what's changing, you might be missing some opportunities or some lessons in this, because it's just so overwhelming and so big. It feels so big. Pardon me, burping. So why is this coming through? Thank you. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So there is a feeling, a couple things coming through. I feel like you could have been a people pleaser, somebody who gave a lot of themselves without asking for anything back. I feel you're a very generous soul, very giving person. You gave when you had nothing to give. And I think that needs to change to something that is a little more balanced, where you are refilling your cup. You are making sure that you're feeling fulfilled and satisfied and cared for in your own world, in your own life. Before you are able to give, you have to make sure that you are on solid ground before you can give to others. And that might be a very challenging thing for you, and why it's feeling so big, because this has been something that maybe you have done since childhood, where you're always offering yourself up to people, whether that is time, money, energy, where you invest all of that. So I feel like there's a real assessment to bringing that back into balance to some degree. This could also be an energy of somebody taking advantage of you, advantage of your kindness as well. So I feel like that's coming to the forefront as well, and something that needs to change. But I also think that that is something you fear, because maybe that has been part of your, I'm hearing spiritual DNA, is to just give and to appease and to please. I feel that that is something from the past that has made its way into your present, and I feel that is what's being challenged at this time. It's your time to enjoy the sweetness of life, to receive sweetness, to receive the love that you have given, and it's time for you to really step into that, of saying goodbye to possibly an old you that was overgiving to the service to yourself, and you were sacrificing yourself for others. And that's not a bad thing, but we need to maintain that balance in order for us to really be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically healthy enough to do so. Also financially healthy for us to do so. We want to make sure that we're not sacrificing so much of ourselves that we have nothing left. So I feel like that is why the message is coming through. Balance needs to be restored. And Pluto is the great renewer. The Pluto is the ruler of the judgment card. So this is an energy of renewal, of to do things differently than you've done in the past. Again, big changes. This isn't just something that you can easily change, like, oh, I'm going to have cereal and toast for breakfast today rather than pancakes. This is this is something a little more deeply ingrained and spiritually ingrained within you. So it's big stuff. But it's your turn. I am hearing it's your turn. And you have to be open for that. So we have, for advice, we have the Seven of Cups in the reverse. So this is going to require you, the advice is to not get too lost in the process, too lost in the emotional overload that may be what this particular experience is going to be. I feel that there are going to be a lot of parts of you that are going to come up to the surface that is going to require some sense of analysis. There's an emotional analysis that's going to happen where you're going to look at your shadow side, you're going to look at your successes, you're going to look at self, you're going to look at the things that need to be shed. And this is a process. This is heavy. This is big. This is something that is going to internally change you. So this is a process that you can get easily lost into, where you are just processing and moving through so many things. You could be feeling overwhelmed. You could be feeling really lost, and you could possibly disconnect from the external world as you are moving through this emotional plane. So I think the suggestion or the advice here is to do the work, but don't forget to enjoy the sweetness of life, the sweetness with friends. And I say that because bottom of the deck we have the Three of Cups. And so this is an energy of just enjoying life, even though you have some heavy work to do in terms of spiritual and emotional growth, and even reprioritizing and rebalancing your priorities, where you invest your time, your energy, money. That doesn't mean that you can't also enjoy life as well and have those time out from the darkness to step into the light, to step among people who really care for you, who really support you, emotionally support you, and really care for your needs. So this is about stepping out into the world, of stepping out into the spring and the summer and enjoying the season, even though there are some emotional things and maybe some spiritual things that you're working through. Again, that doesn't mean you need to be so immersed that you have to be in the darkness, you have to be in hibernation for the next 6 months. We need to have that balance. We need to make sure we're having a little bit of everything, because that will maintain our sanity and our mental health, our physical health as well. So what is this judgment? What is this judgment, Spirit? What is this judgment? More details on the judgment, please. More details on the judgment, please. Whistle while you work. Interesting. I just heard that. Yeah, so just because it's work doesn't mean you have to begrudge it. Doesn't mean you have to be or take it so seriously that nothing else exists. Look at this Magician in reverse. I feel like this Magician in reverse is because this Judgment is in reverse, because you're almost resisting the change that needs to happen, resisting the higher calling, which is also blocking your creative energy. It's blocking that manifesting energy that you have within you, that you can call things in. You have to answer the call to be able to call things in. You have to be open to change and shifting and adapting and growing in order for you to start new things, to bring in fresh energy. And that is that Magician, is this ability to see and understand and feel that you have everything within you to create the existence in the life that you want. Yes, of course, circumstances are not always going to be ideal, but wherever we can control the outcome, wherever we can control our actions, to do so in a way that aligns with our highest good, that calling, that purpose. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So again, I feel like you're being called home in a way. I don't know if I said that, but for some reason, calling home came through here. Calling home could be a message you might need to call home. We have the 2 of Wands in reverse, and the Tower card comes out yet again. So yeah, the big changes. Don't be scared of these big changes. These are good changes, and I feel they're going to lead you to a lot more fulfillment and to enjoy more sweetness in your life. So the 2 of Wands in reverse is this energy of not really planning or seeing beyond your current moment. You can't really see beyond. Maybe things are really foggy right now. Maybe things are really unsure. But especially when we're always giving ourselves to others, we can't really see our own future. We can't really plan for the future because we're always prioritizing other people. And again, not a bad thing. There's a time and a place though, and we have to ensure that we're maintaining that balance. So I think because that balance has not been quite established yet, that we're not able to plan for our future. We're not able to look out into the horizons to dream of the things that we want to manifest. And what's interesting is that we move from the 1 to the 2. And these are both in reverse here. So I feel like once this judgment comes in, you hear the call and you start making changes, that these will both turn upright. So you're going to start manifesting new things, and you're going to start intentionally putting your actions into kind of the right buckets, or aligning to the right buckets. So you're putting a little bit here, you're putting a little bit there. Again, we have that balance coming forth. And I feel this is going to be a big change. The 6 of Pentacles, when we looked at the bottom of the deck, did have the Tower card. I think it was the 6 of Pentacles. It was either that or the Judgment card. I can't remember. But either way, this is a big change for you. And I feel like this could be potentially a surprising shift for you. Something that maybe you were not seeing, or maybe something that's unexpected. Maybe something happens where it forces you to stop giving to others. Maybe there is something happening with your health, and it kind of makes you care for yourself. So it's like Spirit saying, no more giving. You have to give to yourself now. So I don't know how that plays out. If that is not happening, then I don't typically do predictions like that. I want to ensure that you're seeing yourself or your situation in all of the cards that I share, with the exception of maybe some future energies that I might share. But again, this feels very surprising. But I think when we're talking about the why, it's so that you can look to the future. It's so that you can tear down some beliefs or some internal structures that are built on faulty foundations that will eventually crumble if this doesn't come back into balance. So it's about a change of mind and really being conscious about what needs to change. 7 of Cups. Okay, I'm just going to take the one that flipped upright. We have the 8 of Swords in the reverse position, clarifying the 7 of Cups in reverse. So yeah, in this process of looking at your emotional self, you are tearing down some limiting beliefs, the things that are making you feel stuck, the things that are making you feel like you can't change your life, you can't change your circumstances, and just overwhelming you in a way that makes you feel lost. So there is good purpose for this, because we want to get rid of these limiting beliefs that make us feel like we can't change our circumstances, we can't change our situation, we can't change how we feel, we can't change how we react to things. This is really bringing that to the surface and showing you that you can. It may be difficult, but you can do that. And it's just going to require time, require patience, and requiring you to look at all the different subconscious pieces of you, or at least the emotional buckets that you have operated from or reacted from, so that you can understand yourself a little bit better. Of why do I give too much? Where did that come from? Why did that develop? Of why do I fear change? What do I feel unsafe about? What do I fear losing? So again, asking those hard questions. And there's a lot of videos and articles about diving into our subconscious beliefs, about this subconscious journey of looking at our desires, our shadow side, our self, our ego, the things that we think about ourselves, the things that we feel about ourselves, those patterns of thinking that keep us in a loop, that keep us stuck or spiraling out of what feels like out of control. And then bottom of the deck, we have the, I believe this is the not the Hierophant, the Emperor. Thank you. Where this is bringing authority back into authority and control over your life. Because I feel there might be some external circumstances that are making you feel like you can't give to yourself, or you can't control the circumstances. But I almost wonder if that is true, and that will be up to you to discern and to decide. But the Emperor is an energy of really coming into your authority, of really standing in your power, of really having healthy boundaries and pushing back when things don't feel right, or when you don't have the emotional, financial, physical capacity to help others. And to build something of value, to build something of worth, of your own vision, of your own mind, heart, and soul, and not really having too much influence from the external world and other people to help you build that. You can have them assist you in that building of, but this is ultimately your vision, ultimately your life, and you are the creator. And I think you're going to see more of that energy come through as you step into the moments of sweetness, as you step into those emotional connections that you have with others that really fill you up, that really bring you a sense of joy. There's a sense of empowerment that comes with that. And that's what that Emperor is sovereignty, of coming into that power, of understanding how much control you have over your life. And what kind of, how much say you have in the direction of where you want to go. Okay, so we have process your feelings. So I think a lot of the energy that is required here is a processing of some sense of feeling here. Maybe there are some trapped emotions in these limiting beliefs, or maybe that's why the Judgment is in reverse, is that there is a feeling of what's going to change on an emotional level. But processing your feelings is also evaluating them, and to be able to understand them better, to not just feel them and cry them out, or to be compassionate towards them or healing towards them. But this is about understanding them, understanding the source, understanding why they are what they are. And that's not necessarily easy work, but there's a level of maybe speaking up or communication. Maybe your feelings have been suppressed. And so it's been really difficult for you to really acknowledge what you need and what you want in life, really step into moments of joy and sweetness, because there's a feeling of not deserving of that. There's a feeling that other people have it worse than you, or other people need you. So by having feelings, by caring for yourself, by accepting the same kind of tokens of gratitude that you give to others, by accepting that that you are burdening them to some degree. So I feel it's almost turning the tables on that story, to be able to process that in some way so that you can find some sense of balance and almost a release of guilt. There's a feeling of guilt coming through. So really looking at what that is, where it's coming from, and opening yourself up to creativity and joy, but not getting so lost in your emotional body that you forget to have a little fun in the process. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 2. If you'd like to dive deeper with the personal reading, the link to book that is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Let Go of Control and Expectations with the Merganser deck and the number 4 with the Atlantisite stone. Now, when I put this off to the side, I put it like this. And this really felt kind of a splat moment with this Merganser deck as this boulder just lands on top of him. And I almost wonder if there's a feeling that you feel really weighed down by something because it didn't work out in the way that you thought. And you cannot control that this thing happened, that this thing fell down in the way it did. It's like this was so beyond you that you had no control and you couldn't see it coming. So it's almost like it took you by surprise, whatever this thing was. And I feel like there's this guidance to let go at this time, to surrender to the process, because there is nothing that you can do. There's some restructuring or reorganizing of the foundations that are happening. So you have to go where the river takes you. You have to put away the oar and just kind of enjoy the scenery. Not that this feels like a joyous place. I feel like there is a moment that you will come to this surrender point if you haven't already, and I feel like you're going to go through some rapids before you get to back into balance or feeling like you've got your footing again. So rather than resist what's happening, to lean into it a little. I know that is so much easier said than done, but also find ways to offer yourself comfort or some kind of support during this time of upheaval, or this feeling of weight, whatever this weight is, this burden that you've been carrying, whatever this thing that fell, that happened. I feel like you have to find some way of finding comfort or ease in the discomfort and letting go of all of the plans right now. That's not to say that you can't continue to work towards some kind of goal or aspiration, but I feel you're going to be met with some level of resistance because something's shifting. There's a turn in tides is what I'm hearing. So let's see what the mystery card is. And we have Wishing Well. Also, before I get too far in, the Merganser duck, they're very adaptable. They can dive deep to get what they need for food. They can also be on land. They can also be in the air. So finding different ways of doing something could be something as well. And also going deep within your emotional body to just check in to see what's going on, to make sure you're having your emotional needs met as well. So being really supportive of yourself, really compassionate with yourself. And Wishing Well is the mystery card underneath that. I really get a sense that you're wishing for something to be different than it is. You're wishing upon a star for some reason. You're putting in a wish. You are praying for something to change, to happen, to be different. And I feel like letting go is going to be part of that wish fulfillment. You can't get it. It's really interesting, the metaphor that I'm getting from this. It's like you can't get it by holding tightly to this handle. You have to let the bucket go. You have to let the bucket down. And you might not be able to see how far down this bucket goes until it fills up with water. You have to feel into that. So a really interesting kind of metaphor I'm getting from that. But I feel like you are moving towards some kind of wish fulfillment. Maybe you need to take a look at what those wishes are and how you can best achieve them by not going straight for them. It's interesting, I'm getting like a roundabout, like you can't, this is a bit of a detour that I feel you're being taken on. It's not going to be a direct shot, is what I'm hearing. It's going to be around the river bend and over some rapids, and eventually you'll get there, but I feel like there's going to be a little bit of challenge to get there. And let's see what this mystery message is all about and get some guidance from Spirit. So let's take a look at what the mystery message wants to come through from Spirit. Queen of Cups. We did talk about going deep within our emotional body with the merganser duck. And we have the Queen of Cups here, who is all about dreams, imagination, creativity, intuition, really understanding their emotional body, being really receiving and accepting of the emotions that come up during difficulty. Also being really caring for others as well, being really sensitive to what is needed from herself and for and by others. So it's really tapping into that. It's really getting familiar with your emotional body, with your intuition. Being creative and intuitive during this time is going to really be helpful for you. Again, going deep within that. So to try to foster that in some way, so that I really feel like you're going to be in the depths of something. This could also be an energy to either embody or to connect in with. There could be somebody around you who is quite sensitive, very intuitive and creative, that could help you foster something within you at this time. Emotional development is what I'm hearing, emotional intelligence. Okay, so why is this message coming up? We have another Queen, Queen of Wands. This is to foster your confidence, to foster the trust in your own intuition and creativity, your leadership skills, your ability to have the vision, the wish for your life and know that you can attain it, to have the confidence within yourself, the knowing that you can attain it, the willingness, having the stamina to go get it and to even attract it into your life. So this Queen isn't really doing anything really other than sitting here and welcoming opportunity. Now that doesn't mean she hasn't put in some effort, because she's got this fully formed sunflower here. So she has put in the work, but now that she's doing the work and almost proven her abilities, it's like she's attracting new opportunities, new things, new ideas, new visions and dreams into her life. And that's almost the feeling that I'm getting with the star. Wish upon a star. It's like stars are naturally radiant, are naturally magnetic. They are this bright thing in the dark sky. And I feel like that's what you're entering, and why maybe there's going to be some challenges ahead, and why there needs to be a connection with your emotional, creative, or intuitive body, is because that is what's going to draw people in. For you to understand yourself on that deeper level will help you draw on the things that you want and need. So by letting go of the control and expectations, it's like you're open to so much more. You are magnetizing things toward you and not having a rigid or fixed idea of what that looks like. And neither of these queens are controlling. They're very welcoming. They're very gracious. And they're open to inspiration. So the advice, 9 of Wands in the reverse. So this is to let go of the burdens. This is, to me, feeling let go of the control and the expectations, putting up healthy boundaries, and to almost not putting in the work. Usually it's the opposite with tarot. It's like, no, you got to do more work. You got to put in the effort. But this is just like, you just gotta be. I get so much being with this. Trusting in your abilities, trusting in your creativity, trusting in your leadership and your magnetism, because you've done some work up until now, and you do not want to burn yourself out. Interesting. You do not want to burn yourself out, especially if there's more to come. These are queens who have not quite mastered their skill yet. There's still another level to reach. So it's almost like you have to almost come into this energy of being for a while, of receiving and not putting in forceful effort or any effort whatsoever, because you want to preserve your energy for what's next. I feel like you've put in a lot of work. You have maybe pushed and persevered through challenge and change. And this is a moment where you can't do that. This isn't going to work here. So you have to let go of that control. You have to let go of those expectations at this time. And yeah, 3 of Swords in the upright at the bottom of the deck. This might be really hard for you to do. This might mean that you feel like things are coming to some kind of end here, but they're not. Maybe your thoughts are placing some kind of expectation on you, or making you feel like this is the end because you're not seeing the results. You are not able to use your will and your ambition and your skill to achieve what you want here. So this could feel like some kind of ending here. And it could really play on your heart. Aha! But we have the Ace of Wands. We have a fresh new spark here when we come into this Queen of Cups energy. Well, we're really stepping into our emotional body. We're really stepping into what our higher self is guiding us to do, or what our spirit team is guiding us to do. And really reconnecting with that deep inner wisdom, that higher wisdom, really connecting in with, how do we feel in this moment? What do I need in this moment? What do other people need around me? And how can I help them go through something similar? There's a newfound spark or a newfound passion that's coming through when you spend the time to care for yourself, when you spend the time receiving. I feel like you're going to be receiving possibly an offer that's going to be really exciting. You could be receiving some source of inspiration or a spark of a new idea that really fires you up. But this is a moment of restarting the ignition. That's an interesting phrase. I don't even know if that makes any sense. Refiring the ignition, restarting the ignition. Something about ignition. Something's being ignited. This is initiation energy. And you have what it takes. You have, but it's going to require you to let go in order to see it, in order to find it. And you have the energy for it. You have the stamina, which is all the more reason to take your foot off the gas. I'm getting a lot of car references. Queen of Wands. Clarify, please. Strongest energy. I feel like you've been able to go where you've wanted to go in life, but you aspire for more. And this is a bit of a shift in how this is like shifting down a gear where, or maybe you're in neutral. Maybe you've neutralized, the energy is neutral. So you're not really, maybe you're not floating downstream at all. Maybe you're just floating in place and you're waiting for the flow to pick up or something. Like this Queen of Cups, speaking of flow, is a go with the flow energy of going with whatever sparks the ignition, whatever sparks your excitement, whatever sparks an idea, whatever floats your boat. And the 8 of Cups in the reverse, the Queen of Wands. So this is happening because to step into your leadership, to attract the things that you want, and to move away from the emotional baggage that you've been carrying around. This is an energy of you moving away from something, or being okay with something being incomplete. There's a resistance to moving forward because you feel like there's still some work left to do. And yes, I think that's true, but it's not going to align with what you expect it to be. And again, because you're at the Queen, you have an inkling that there's something more. I aspire to do more. There is more, but not in this particular environment that you find yourself in, especially emotional environment you find yourself in. There is something more, but it's going to require you to step out of some kind of comfort zone here. And I think it's going to be a little unexpected. So that is why you need to let go a little so that you can open yourself up and attract in those possibilities and what those could be. To not be so rigid that you miss it. Nine of Wands in reverse. And we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which is beautiful because that means you are letting go. There's that letting go energy. Letting go of the need to hold yourself back, to be rigid on. Can be a very scarce mindset, but now you're in this mode of kind of letting things go, letting things be, of being a little more giving, but also being a little more receiving. So you're opening yourself up. You're not being so reserved about what needs to happen and when, and this is how I spend my time, and this is how I spend my money. And we have to be there's a rigidity with the Four of Pentacles. But with it being in reverse, it's like, no, I'm opening myself up to a different way of doing. I'm opening myself to just be and to kind of float on down the river. Even though this might be really hard for me to do, it might hurt my heart for things to change in the way that I didn't expect. But I feel like new opportunities or ideas or inspirations are going to come from this place. Bottom of the deck, we have the Devil in reverse. So this is definitely moving you away from something that you've grown comfortable with, something that you've attached yourself to. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's toxic. It just means that it's something that it's like you have to detach yourself when you are elevating your energy, when you are aspiring for more and you've hit that ceiling. Then it is almost a requirement for you to detach yourself from where you are, because where you're going cannot be anchored to where you are. So I don't know if this is a relationship. I don't know if this is a business. But for you to level up and to step into what it is that you want, your true hearts, your true wishes, those things that you really desire and aspire to put work into and to attain, there has to be a letting go of something and a detachment from something. This could be quite painful for you or hard for you to do, because it is something that requires you to let go of control. And that could be really hard as a queen, with feeling like you have control over your destiny, control over the efforts that you put in and where you invest your time and energy. But I feel like there's some universal energies at play that are maybe requiring you to let go of some kind of belief or change your mind or allow things to be a little flexible in a way that is unexpected to you, in a way that is opening yourself up to some big wish here. So we will get a final oracle card to end your reading. These queens could also be, as I mentioned with the Queen of Cups, they could be energies to embody, energies that you currently embody, or energies that you can connect into with regard to people in your life. So this Queen of Cups, Yeah, interesting. There could be two different people. It could represent you and another person, or two other people that are kind of surrounding you at this time. Maybe somebody is trying to put out your fire. There could be some tension there between the two queens, because they look at the world in very different ways. So maybe detaching yourself from one of those energies might be required in order for you to do your own thing, to level up, to lead your own, lead your own way forward. And that could be the detachment we see here. And maybe it's grown to, there's just limits with the devil. There's limitations, or there's a feeling of being told what to do and where to go. Embrace uncertainty. So I feel like you have to be okay, as heartbreaking as it might be, to embrace a little uncertainty that this path ahead might have for you, and what this river ahead, what might have for you. I feel like, again, there's going to be some twists, some turns, a little bit of rapids, but again, it's a restructuring of a foundation so that you can elevate, you can move into something higher. And embracing uncertainty means to feel the pain and maybe the heartbreak of things not working out in the way you expected. Even though it might look awful on the surface, I feel that it's for your highest good, and it's for you to step into an energy of elevation or ascension of where you are now. Not to say that it's better than, but it's more, there's more skill level involved. There is more leadership. There is maybe more collaboration with others. And it's really going to require you to let go of some of the emotions that come along with that. The attachments, maybe emotional attachments that you have to a thing that you wished had worked out in a different way. But I really get a lot of releasing energy here as part of your advice, where you're releasing your efforts and maybe the force that you're putting towards achieving a certain thing, because I feel that this is a bit of a redirection, an unexpected redirection, but a redirection nonetheless. And it's going to require you to loosen your grip a little on what you think things should be, what you thought they were, and what they may not be. So embracing that uncertainty is following the path with your intuition and overcoming those obstacles that are in front of you, one step at a time, one moment at a time. And moving towards the light of just being, observing, and then acting when you're being prompted. So again, all the more reason to connect in with that emotional self. What is it you need? And that intuitive self. Where should I go from here? What should I do next? What is in my highest alignment, in my greatest good? So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 3. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.